Duet Timesheet, entering time. This video aims to help you understand the time entry process within the Duet Timesheet application. I'll use a smartphone view, but Duet will responsively resize for whatever device you use, tablet, PC or smartphone. We urge you to refer to the Duet online help system for in-depth assistance when using Duet. The actual entry of time, the hours and minutes of a day, is fairly straightforward and universal for most organizations. It's the additional information that you are required to book those hours against that makes it difficult to produce one video that suits everyone. So, I'm going to show you several examples of how the system could be set up. We hope you find one that's relevant to you. Usually, your managers will be trying to configure Duet to mimic the way your timesheets work now. This is the Duet Dashboard. It can be accessed at any time by clicking the icon at the top left. Dashboard contains functions such as signing in and out of Duet, and accessing the online help system. Duet generates notifications, messages from other users about the progress or status of your timesheets. We will see these as this video progresses. You can also access Timesheet Reports with detail and summary information on your time entries. Within the Timesheet section, we have the following options. Quick Entry enables a time entry to be quickly recorded for a specific day. Today displays a view of entries with time recorded for the current day. Current shows a summary overview of the timesheet for the current period with the ability to drill down into individual days or entries. Time can be recorded for multiple days at once. Timesheets displays a list of timesheets for all open periods, together with the status of each one. Offline working, if you ever lose your internet signal or connection, Duet will display a flight mode aeroplane icon. Choosing offline working will allow you to continue entering. You can upload your work when connection is restored. This video will break the process down into the entry of a time record for a single day, and then methods to enter for an entire period. You may find this involves less work if what you are doing is repetitive. Okay, let's begin with a simple scenario. You want to book hours against types of time, for instance, day or night shift, overtime hours, bank holidays, etc. Let's look at an entry using these. In this first example, the timesheet system has been configured with only one dimension. In this case, it describes the type of hours you are working. You will be able to choose these from a list. Let's use Quick Entry. It's a simple way of entering some time, suits users who like to record what they were doing as they work. Open the Quick Entry screen. Duet will highlight today's date. For our example, I'm going to start at a date in last week's period. I'll scroll down to the date I want, and select the day. Now, here is the dimension that has been set up by your system manager. It's asking for the type of hours you worked. I'll select weekday hours and enter 2 hours 30 minutes. We can also enter notes about what we did if required or for your own benefit. Save the entry. And that's it. One time entry completed. We only book 2 hours 30 to that day. Let's add more time to it, spent working on a different task. As covered at the start of this video, Timesheet can be configured in many different ways. Our admin user has now added some more dimensions to the system. You will see these being used on this entry. I'll use Quick Entry again. Looking at our list of days, we can see the entry we just made, and the hours recorded. Choose the same day. Now we select what type of hours. This time, I'll enter against overtime hours. And enter the duration, for hours 15 minutes. Admin has added a dimension called Shift Start and End. To minimize typing, you can choose values from a list. Admin has also added a narrative field. It can save you entering repetitive notes. You can choose from a list, or enter your own text. This list is built by you. The system will begin to remember your entries, and allow you to choose them next time. Enter notes if you need them. Let's save our entry. Now, we will have a quick look at the timesheets option. Here, each of the periods is listed showing a status against each entry. Our periods are pending status, they have not yet been submitted. The current period is at the top, it has no hours entered, we have been posting to last week's period. You can see the total hours posted to that period so far. Open the period by clicking the right chevron on the period line. Once open, the screen displays the days within the period, and summarizes the entries it contains. You can look at history, the dates and who created entries. Comments about this period's workflow. The total time entered so far. The number of entries containing the time. Copy timesheet entries, allows you to copy entries to other periods, useful if you often repeat work. Lastly, the total outstanding amount of time that must be entered, before you can submit your timesheet. The amount required is set by your manager. Let's look at those entries we made for Monday. Select Monday, and the entries for the day will display. You can click an entry to open it. You can examine or edit the entry. Each line has an item menu. Under the Items menu, you will find options for the record. In this case, delete or modify the entry. Let's return to our timesheet screen. Rather than use the quick entry method, you can enter each day in the period from here. Just select the day you want. We entered hours for Monday. This is Tuesday. The period already has heading entries for the type of work performed in this period, but no actual time has been entered against these for Tuesday. You can select one if you wish to enter time against it. Enter the duration. Enter those shift details. Any narrative and notes. Save the entry. You can now see the time entered against this heading. Going back to our timesheet screen, you can see there are still 2 entries, in our case the types of hours, but overall, the total time outstanding has decreased as we have entered more hours for Tuesday. Now, select the 2 entries to view their details. You can see the total time now booked against each one. Weekday 1 shows 8 hours 45 in total. To see how that splits across days, click the right chevron. The days in the period will display, and you can see the weekday 1 hours against each day. You could open each day's entry by clicking the right chevron. Let's go back to Timesheet View. Then back to our dashboard. Okay, so far we have looked at the quick entry and some options on the timesheet menu. So let's look at today. The Today option, as its name suggests, assumes you want to make an entry for the current date. It does not give a list of days, it just goes straight to entry. If there are no current entries for today, just click the plus sign to create one. From this point on, everything is the same as quick entry. Enter all the information you need, duration etc. and save the entry. The Current option. Current is really the same as the Timesheets option, except that it starts by listing days within the current period. So rather than you having to choose the period you want to work with, you are immediately within the current period. In essence, all of the options create exactly the same timesheet entry record. These are just tools to make the process easier. We need to look more closely at the timesheet option. It's the main tool to manage your timesheet entries. Also, I'm changing to a different company to show a setup that uses projects and phases to book time against, instead of types of hours. The actual entry process, however, is still basically the same. Let's load timesheets. Our list of timesheet periods opens, and we can see the status and time recorded for each period. The status will be one of the following. Pending. A period that has not yet been submitted, it may or may not contain time entries. Submitted. You have submitted the timesheet for approval by a manager. Approved. The manager has approved the timesheet. Queried. Manager has raised a query regarding your timesheet. Let's open this timesheet, period 17, and make some entries. The days in the period appear in red. This indicates that they are due, or overdue, and that they have less than the required amount of time entered. In this data example, both daily and period minimum number of hours has been set. You can see in the summary that no hours or time have been entered. Let's select entries and enter some time. As this data setup uses project and phase, I'll select the ones where this time was spent. Select project. Select phase. Admin has also defined some data called tags. You can use this to report and analyze the timesheet data. It's optional. Save our header record. Now, we have a project and phase to book time against. I want to enter the time spent. Select the phase. The days in the period appear in a list. Currently, the hours are 0. I was working on this same project and phase for a number of days, so I will use the multi-select tool to enter all the hours in one go. First, as I did not work weekends, I'll exclude weekends. Now, I will click to multi-select the days I want. Monday to Thursday. I will untick Friday. Let's enter a duration that applies to all 4 selected days. You can now see the hours entered against each day. Total hours so far has been updated. We return to the timesheet summary. The screen now shows the totals. Also, the time requirements for Monday to Thursday have been met, so they have turned green. Friday is still red. The time summary shows how much time is still required before we can submit our timesheet. I'll use entries to input the time for Friday. Friday was planned annual leave, so let's select the project and phase codes for time off. There is now a heading for holiday. I need to enter the time. I can use the same tools. Select Friday. Enter the hours. Save our entry, return to the hours screen and review the week. All looks okay. Back to the summary screen. All our days are now green, and I can submit the timesheet. Before we submit, we can optionally choose to copy these timesheet entries to other periods. This is useful if you will be working on this project long term. By doing this, the next period's work will be set up for you, ready to confirm the hours. Let's copy. There is no holiday next week, so I only copy the project and phase. I can now select which periods to copy these headings to. Copy to next week, period 18. We will return to the timesheet summary. Okay, our period shows 32 hours in 2 entries. Let's submit our timesheet and enter any notes for the manager approving our sheet. When saving, you get a final opportunity to carry entries forward. We don't need to as we used the copy function earlier. Our timesheet is now in a submitted state. It has been passed to an approver. If, however, you realize you have made a mistake, you can revert the sheet back to pending. Choose Revert Timesheet. Enter a reason for reverting. Correct the entry, or add a new one. In this case, let's imagine I made a mistake on Thursday's time entry. Correct the error and save. At any time you can look at the timesheet history to see the workflow. So far, we can see when created, submitted and reverted. Okay, let's go back and submit our corrected timesheet. Enter notes for the approver. Return to our timesheet screen. Our timesheet is now in submitted state and waiting for a manager to approve or query. Let's look at our dashboard. In the notification section, we have 4 unread notifications. Our manager has been progressing timesheet approvals and has dealt with our submitted timesheet. Let's look at timesheets again. Our timesheet has been queried. When the manager queries or approves, we will be sent a notification within Duet. You may also get an email. From the dashboard, let's look at those notifications. You will see there are now 5. Open notifications. We can see why our timesheet has been queried. We can open the timesheet directly from the notification. Click the right chevron. Let's look at the timesheet comments. To tell the manager we have corrected the problem, or ask for clarification, we can reply directly here. But, as we will be submitting the sheet again, I will enter my reply as I submit. Return to the timesheet and choose Submit. Enter the reply and save. Our timesheet has been submitted again. When we return to our dashboard, the notifications has gone back to 4. Timesheet is now with manager for approval. To complete the process, the manager has now approved. A new notification has arrived. Let's read it. And go back to the dashboard to open timesheets. We can see our timesheet is now approved. To conclude this video, let's take a quick look at Timesheets Reports. Select the Reports menu. As an example, let's open the Timesheet Detail Report. Run the report. You can scroll the report left and right, and up and down. There is a report filter option in the Action menu. I want to restrict this report to show only queried timesheets. Select Queried. Run the report. Now we only see queried timesheets. Let's return to our menu. This concludes our presentation on using Duet Timesheets. Thank you for watching.